Hello, I'm Leonard Maltin, and I'm here with Roger Corman to talk about one of his incredible movies from his incredible career. This one, of course, is Big Bad Mama. Now, here's a film that made a splash, I think, the minute it surfaced. Was it an immediate success?
Big Bad Mama was an immediate success for a variety of reasons, of which the title is one.
Well, how important is a title, especially in your kind of film?
For our kind of film, if we have a kind of film, and I guess we do, the title is very, very important. As I said years ago, if Paul Newman is playing the lead in a picture, you can call the picture HUD, and you can still have a success. But if we have stars, which we generally do, not of that caliber, the title with what name value we can get from the stars is what really sells the picture. Plus, I still believe the quality of the picture must fit in there somewhere.
In this case, you had some substantial name value because you had Angie Dickinson, who was a perfect match for that part, and William Shatner, and Tom Skerritt besides, and some good supporting people. Whose idea was it to cast Angie Dickinson as Big Bad Mama?
It was my idea to cast Angie. She had been and was one of the great feminine stars, and she had the strength so she could play kind of a young mother of teenage girls, and she was wonderful in the role.
And she was also willing to do some topless scenes for you.
That surprised everybody because Angie was very concerned about the topless scenes, and I remember she and Steve Carver and I had lunch to discuss them, and she said just what she would do and no more. And I deliberately didn't go to the set, although I might have wanted to go to the set. I didn't go to the set that day. And when it was over, I called Steve and said, "How did it go?" And Steve said, "I don't understand this, but Angie did far more than we can use and keep our R rating." So with our reluctant star, we had to cut the scene down a little bit.
Now, you had worked with William Shatner before. In fact, you had directed him in one of your most interesting pictures, set in the Deep South, The Intruder.
Yes, in about 1960 I did The Intruder, which was based on the integration of schools in the South, and Bill Shatner was a young actor just out from Broadway. It was his first film as a leading man, and we both ended up winning a couple of film festivals. I won for Best Director, he won for Best Actor, and as he pointed out to me, he won more times for Best Actor than I did for Best Director.
How involved were you as the sort of supervising producer of these films you made in the 70s in the casting? Would the director come to you with an idea? Would you say, "Or I can see William Shatner in this"? How would that generally work?
I had the same technique then that I have now, in which I am very intimately involved with casting the leads and the top supporting roles. After that, I leave it totally to the discretion of the director, and generally, the director and I are in agreement. I'd say 99% of the time, it becomes obvious as to who should play the role.
Were you happy with this film?
I was very happy with it. As a matter of fact, we ended up doing Big Bad Mama 2 with Angie again a couple of years later, and you don't do that unless you're happy with the first one.
In truth, it was more than a couple of years later, and there wouldn't be, I think it was something like 13 years later, if my homework is correct, and there aren't many leading ladies who could have pulled that off 13 years later, but she did.
That was amazing. Angie did come back. I had forgotten. It was 13 years later, and she still looked great. She didn't do a nude scene in the second one. She let that one go to her daughters. But she was excellent, and I'll always be grateful to Angie because she gave me two great performances.
In the 70s, it's not that long ago, but in terms of how things have changed in the movie business, it is a different period, the way things were marketed and sold. Were there still drive-ins? Was that a viable market in those days for a film like Big Bad Mama?
The drive-ins were a major share of the market for Big Bad Mama. People think now that drive-ins were the most important. They weren't. The hard tops, as we called them, still generated more than 50% of the income. But I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 or 40% of our income from the whole United States came from drive-ins. And that's a whole different subject, but the face of American distribution and exhibition and even production has changed as a result of that.
What did Steve Carver go on to do after Big Bad Mama?
Steve Carver did another picture for us. I've forgotten which one it was, and then he went on to do several pictures for major studios. And Steve has had a very, very good career, and I'm very proud of his work.
Just one of many directors you helped launch. Well, Big Bad Mama is a lot of fun, and as I say, an unusually good cast, I think. Very, very strong in the casting department, and I think people will enjoy seeing it again.
Good.
I don't like it a damn bit. And if you had the brains God gave a titmouse, you wouldn't be doing it. Mom, I